Woman thinks she can flash a gun at people without consequences. Yeah, that sounds like a great title to start this. Hi guys, I just saw this video in my recommended and thought, what the hell? It sounds like a wacky situation and I'm addicted to body cam videos at the moment, so let's just jump right into it.
On October 2nd, 2021, officers responded to a call
I should say, this is by Body Cam Watch, so the link to the channel will be in the description.
But I didn't want to go in there without you.
First of all, by that title, what kind of balls do you have to just randomly flash a gun at people? That is insanity to me, as someone who has grown up in a country that does not allow firearms. Not that freely, at least. I find it really funny. I find it really funny that you can see shoppers in the background just sort of standing around while the like 4 cops come in holding their pistols drawn just at resting height at their chest, and no one gives a fuck.
Okay.
It's incredible.
You said red pants?
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, let's see if you can see anybody with red pants.
I guess they're just looking around for her at the moment.
If y'all see her, don't say anything. Just give us a call. Just tell us that where she's at. Don't make any contact with her.
She's armed.
God damn, it's a big store. I guess this isn't like... It is an electronics store, so that does make sense. They usually have fucking everything in there.
Hello.
Oh, is that her? Do we find her?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, we found her.
You don't happen to have a gun in your bag, do you?
We found the protagonist, this bitch right here. Is that the Rock? Is that the Rock just there in the background? Rock jump scare.
No, sir.
Okay. You mind if I look real quick?
In my purse?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I said there's a black female with a red pants that had a gun.
Not a gun. I just come in here.
Okay, I understand that. What car do you drive?
You're not allowed.
What car do you drive?
You're not allowed.
What car do you drive?
I drive a white BMW.
White BMW. Okay.
God, this one is real
Nice here.
quiet.
What's she wearing? What's she wearing?
Okay.
1365 Smyrna. What is she wearing again?
There'll be a black female wearing a tan hat, blue shirt, and red shorts.
Well, she's got a black shirt and red shorts for sure.
I need you to stand right here for right now. Something happened outside in the parking lot.
In the parking
You're
lot.
describing your clothing.
No.
You're looking at me?
Bro's already talking.
Yeah.
talking to me.
Hey, I understand that.
Yeah, he
I need you to stand right here. Just stand right here. She's wearing a tan hat and red shorts. Show me anybody else in this whole building that's wearing a tan hat and red
I don't
shorts.
have on a tan hat. I have on a black and white hat.
When people were in traumatic...
Bitch, that is a tan hat. You could argue that that is grey, but the point still stands. That is tan. That is not black or white. I mean, it could just be, like, the color. The color's not the greatest because it's a fucking body camera, and the lighting is also pretty harsh, but still, that is not a black and white cap. Fuck off.
situations, they don't always...
Also, it bothers me when I see this. People wearing masks, but they keep it just under their fucking nose. It's not hard to just slide that bitch. I mean, I get it. She's wearing glasses. Sure, that's fine. But she's also wearing her glasses really fucking low. Push that shit up to the top of the bridge of your nose. What's it? I believe it's called the gabella, but the spot between your eyes, but just below the middle of your eyebrows. I believe that's the name of it. But yeah, you push your glasses up there and pull the fucking mask up, because you're completely negating the point of wearing a mask without having it down low like that. Sorry, it fucking irks me.
I'm just holding. Yeah, but I haven't done anything. I just came in.
That's why you're not in handcuffs, because I don't know that you've done anything.
That's why you're
I
not
just
in
know that
handcuffs.
something just happened out there, and they said that the person walked into Best Buy. They described him as a black female, wearing a tan hat and red shorts.
Yes, sir.
You were the closest person that fits that description,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm just saying, just for the time being, just stand right here.
We're about to go back outside.
Also, it's kind of an obvious tell that she's got something to hide, because she's being so defensive and so argumentative over just, hey, We heard a report of a woman that matches your description. Mind if we just chat to you for a minute or look in your purse for this firearm that's been reported here? If someone wasn't guilty of that, they would not care that much, I'm sure. Like, I know if I was stopped with my creepy ass looking with my creepy ass looks and shoulder bag, because I'm not exactly unsuspicious. The way I move around is very suspicious. I always look like I have something to hide. That's just because I skulk around and I look around a lot, I fidget a lot. I'm not a naturally unsuspicious person, but that's just because of habits and the way I exist. But I know if I was stopped by a cop and said, hey, we just need to check your bag for any weapons because we've heard there's reports of weapons around here, people wearing bags, and apparently they might have weapons. I go, sure, no thing. Show them the inside of my bags, no problem, have a good day. It's not that fucking hard. If you have nothing to hide, why would you argue? And I'm pretty sure that's why he's trying to keep her here, because she's arguing and trying to get away.
Don't make me use the bathroom by myself.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm a diabetic.
I don't mean to frighten you, so I apologize.
I'm a diabetic, and I'm about to poop on myself.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't mean to startle you.
Yeah,
That's why I wanted to explain what's going on. Basically, somebody just pointed a gun at somebody in the parking lot. The other person who got the gun pointed, she's standing out there.
Okay.
And she said, the lady who pointed a gun at me is a black female wearing red shorts and a tan hat.
No, baby.
I would point out the big filer,
Okay,
what the
so
fuck you pronounce
just want
that,
to walk up here
on
to
the
the front
chest.
and I'll figure out if it was you. If not, I'll let you
Yeah,
go.
let
So.
me use the restroom because I'm about to poop.
Well, I can't let you go in there.
Oh, wow.
That's why I just explained the situation, so I just need you to walk up here to the front. If I can determine it's not you, then just walk up here to the front.
Yeah, she's trying to go to... assuming she's guilty, she's trying to go to the bathroom and figure out a way to escape or to ditch the weapon. So he's not letting her because she could do that. So it's kind of a give and take. If she's diabetic and needs to actually take a shit, then oops, sorry, that was unfortunate. But unfortunately that could lead to, I'm pretty sure that could lead to a lawsuit against the police department in certain cases, but I guess not, because in this case it is justified. But still, the reason they don't is because, again, could ditch the weapon or leave. Just pointing that out in case it wasn't that obvious.
Hey, where's the victim at?
There's three officers.
Okay. Well, we're gonna walk outside. She's gonna tell me if it's her. Will you just walk right out the front door?
Walk out the front door.
Yes, ma'am.
You want? I know you haven't paid for those. You're gonna put them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself. What are you gonna walk out with the items you haven't paid for? Other officers continue to search the store. Okay. He's got his fucking gun out.
Female with a tan hat and red pants. All right, thanks for the help, kid.
He got no fucking help from the kid. To be fair, he did just point a gun at a little kid.
Confirming it is her.
I guess that's why it was included, because it was funny.
She's in that little car. Yep. The gun is probably in the car.
Yeah, for they're saying that, sir.
Somebody walked in front of me in front of the car, but I never had an encounter with anybody.
Okay, so did you have a weapon on you by any chance or anything?
No, sir.
Or anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Do you have a firearm in your purse?
No, sir.
She did just say she doesn't have a weapon.
Looks inside your purse.
I don't want them looking in my purse when there's no reason to look in my purse.
Well,
I know my
reason-
rights.
I get you.
understand
That's
that.
fine. That's fine. We're not
Yeah,
arguing.
baby, I know my
Okay.
rights. I'm
Well,
not.
at this point, you're in investigatory hold right now.
What's that?
It means you're basically being detained. So you're not free to leave. And I'm removing this purse from you.
I'm
not looking in it.
detained?
Relax.
And
relax,
you're
relax,
being
relax.
I'm
investigated.
being detained?
Just
I'm
like you
removing
say-
this purse
just
from
like
you.
you say you know your rights. We're giving you the right to tell you what we're.
And I'm
what's
gonna
going
talk-
on.
Why you got my
I'm
arm
taking
like
the-
this?
Ma'am, no,
I'm removing the purse from you.
Why?
We're
I'm
not
just
making
removing this
anything
purse.
Yeah, she's acting mad suspicious. You got two other officers coming over. So, I do appreciate these officers actually saying that she's being held under investigatory, whatever the fuck you just said, instead of just saying you're being detained. Because I've watched a lot of body cams, and a lot of the time an officer will just say you're being detained, and a lot of people hear that and they assume, oh, I'm under arrest, and then they start resisting and they start making it worse and getting themselves in more trouble. So saying you're under under the thing, I can't fucking say it. I have a speech impediment, all right? It's called an Australian accent. So yeah, saying that she's under that, and then it was only after he said, essentially, you're being detained. You're not allowed to leave. That's when she started freaking out. That and when he tried to take her purse, which he has to do. There is a call about someone with a weapon that was pointing that weapon illegally at someone else. So the main suspect must be checked and their belongings for any such weapons, because they have to keep people safe. That's the point. And the more she refuses and resists and doesn't go with what they say, the worse it makes her look, and the more they're going to push. I'm sure if she just immediately went, oh yeah, that was me, I'm sorry, it wouldn't be so bad. But because she's making a big stink about it, wasting not only these good cops' time, but everyone else's time, it's only going to make her look worse. I will say that's not always the case when it comes to this sort of stuff. You can be upfront about something and still get in just as much or even more trouble. But from what I've seen and what I know about my minor knowledge of law, if you're upfront with petty crimes or misdemeanors or anything like that, generally, assuming the cop isn't a complete dickbag, they just sort of go, all right, that's fine. We're just issuing you a warning, maybe a fine, and then we'll let you on your way. Sorry for the inconvenience. Because they don't want to be doing this. They don't want to be doing... Sure, it's their job, but they don't want to deal with people like this. They just want to do the thing, move on to the next call. Like, they don't fucking care. They're not out to get you. And I think that's what she's afraid of. I mean, I can understand as well, I'm not gonna go into any sociopolitics, but I can understand from a certain perspective, it's 4 tall white guys that are cops, so they have some sort of power around one black woman. I can see how that would be intimidating, and I can understand and empathize with that, but that is besides the point. That is not what is relevant. I can understand her reservations and resignations in just submitting, because there are problems with power tripping cops and people doing their own thing and prejudices and blah, blah, blah. That's not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is, if she just was upfront, I'm sure it wouldn't be as bad as it is currently, and probably going to be as it goes on, because there's still another 7 minutes to this video.
Do not reach in your purse. You just reached in your purse.
I got the arm.
No, don't reach in your purse. That's it.
Calm down.
Hey, you want to put it in front of my mother?
Oh yeah, I forgot there was a
Okay, you're being
female
detained until we
officer.
figure out anything further. Because somebody said,
That lady pointed at me and I didn't do anything to
it's
her.
locked, damn it. You said she pointed at you?
Yes, sir, she pointed something at me.
Who did?
The lady with the gun, she called me a bitch.
Okay.
She called me a bitch, but I didn't.
Even if she does call you a bitch, there's no reason to point a gun at somebody. I'm pretty sure... I'm not American, obviously, but I'm pretty sure pointing a gun at somebody, period, is a crime. Provided that you're not pointing it at somebody in self-defense, but even that, it can be kind of tricky. I am familiar that there is a thing in US law called the... I believe it's called the last stand doctrine, or the castle doctrine. It's something like that. Basically, if someone enters your property, you have the right to defend your property and your home with the same with proportional justifiable force. So if someone breaks into your home and you feel threatened and the possibility of you or someone in your home or your property being damaged, you have the right to take action against that. I'm familiar with that. But that doesn't fucking apply here. You can't just point a gun at somebody. I know there is, like, open carry states and some open carry stuff. But even still, you're not supposed to point it at people. And I believe in such places, correct me if I'm wrong, my Americans in the audience, you're not allowed to carry a weapon loaded, right? It has to be unloaded. I could be wrong, but if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But I believe you aren't allowed to carry a weapon that is loaded. And apparently my internet cut out for a second and Discord just came back up online. Okay, moving on. Oh, actually, before we do that, another thing. Why the fuck would you reach for your pass? The thing they're worried about, they think is in there, and you reach for it. That is the number one thing they fear. So I've watched a YouTuber called Donut Operator. He is an ex-cop, and he does these sorts of videos, watches police body cams and breaks them down from an officer's perspective. And everything I've seen from him, anytime a suspect reaches, so just reaching for something out of a cop's line of sight, they get jumpy, especially in the US, because there could be any sort of gun in there. Hopefully I remember this in editing, but there is a tiny gun called the Colibri, which is like miniature palms, not even palm-sized pistol. And that was an actual firearm that actually worked, made in, I believe, the early 1940s. And we've only gotten better technology now. We can make tiny fucking firearms. Hell, I have a mini Glock 17, like plastic Glock 17 pistol just sitting on my desk made out of plastic, and it's not real. It's completely fake, and it's just there to just toy with in my spare time when my hands are free and idle. But it's also very easy to make this a real gun. Granted, it wouldn't fucking work because it's made of plastic. You need better, tougher parts, and you'd probably only get one shot out of this and the muzzle will just fucking explode because it needs to have metal in it. But my point is, you can have tiny weapons. So whenever you reach for like a pocket or a bag or like behind a chair that they can't see, they're going to get jumpy and they're going to try and stop you. Because for all they know, you're about to pull out a gun and shoot them. And they don't want that. Nobody else wants that. And they're there to protect people. What a stupid thing to do.
Argue with her. I was driving on through.
Where's your white BMW?
Is it this third car on the right here?
Okay, well, at least she seems to have calmed down now.
There we go. I agree. So listen, the best thing to do is just listen and follow instructions, and then everything goes okay, right?
Yes, sir.
Because if somebody claims something outrageous and they're the one who's causing the problem, we don't know that until we get here and find out, right?
Yes, sir.
So just let us find out, and then we'll be good to go from there.
I wasn't arguing with anybody.
No, I'm not saying that you're arguing with us.
You weren't arguing, but you were
Get everything figured out, okay?
doing
We're
the
not going
wrong
to jail or anything
thing.
right now until we figure out a little bit further, but you are being detained because you matched the description we were doing, okay?
Yeah, being
What
detained.
the gun look like?
It was probably about this big.
It's a big gun.
Black.
And she did like this.
Did it look like a revolver or like a normal modern type pistol, like a semi-automatic type pistol?
It was
like,
a thick. It was one of the thick ones. I'm not sure.
Did it look like similar to what police carry? Or did it look like,
Yeah,
like
it was smaller than that. Yeah.
So I'm going to take a peek here.
I like that she has no fucking idea about guns, and just, it was about this long, the size of a revolver. Oh, was it like the ones we carry? Yeah, it was about that size. Which is it? Is it the size of a Glock, or is it the size of a revolver? I would assume it would be somewhere between maybe a SIG, a CZ, or a Glock, if I had to take a guess.
This is allegedly hers, right?
I know a little bit about firearms, but not much.
The one that they said was a red Scion, or the one he was out with, right? A red vehicle or something.
Ooh, what if she has a 5.7? That'd be pretty fucking baller. That gun actively fucking hates poor people.
Some sort. But she said a white BMW. You see a white BMW anywhere?
And y'all were walking across.
For context, a 5.7 is essentially a pistol that fires a mini rifle round. So they're not only really dangerous to just carry around, but they're also incredibly fucking expensive because you're firing a rifle bullet, a modified small rifle bullet out of a pistol. And that is made by FN, the same guys that make the FAL, one of my favorite rifles ever. Not that I've shot it, but I just love the design and I love it in games. The first ever use of the 5.7 I've ever had was in Black Ops 2. That gun fucking sucks in that game. Anyway, side tangent over.
We had already walked across the street.
We already had walked across.
I guess she thought y'all were in her way.
It seemed like she didn't want to stop while we were walking to get to the Chinese place. Yeah, right here. She stopped the car. If she stopped it and said, "Did you call me a bitch?" I said, "Yes, I did." And she said, "Well, you the one that bitch and this and that." I said, "I'm a good one," and we walked on in.
And
The
girl
sass.
did like this.
She was waving
I
it.
saw the
Waving
gun.
the gun.
At any point, did she point it towards you?
She waved it like
Waved it towards you.
yeah, like this. Just letting us know that she had the gun. Yeah.
So right now, you're going to be placed under arrest for obstruction. Okay?
So she didn't let those two ladies cross. Got mad that one of them called her a bitch, justifiably, and then decided to go for the nuclear option, the big pussy mode option of, hey, I got a gun, don't fuck with me. What is wrong with you? Also, charged with obstruction? So they found the weapon?
That means you didn't follow lawful commands when we're telling you not to tense up, not to go in your purse, not to pull
okay,
away.
that makes sense.
You lied about the vehicle you were in originally. You lied about being in an altercation with somebody outside originally. So we've got a bunch of false statements and obstruction. So 1407 11015.
I wasn't pulling away from you guys.
Like I explained earlier, okay?
I didn't pull.
Okay. And then when you were told not to reach in your purse, you immediately tried to reach in your purse.
No, I was trying to drop. Look, I was trying to drop my keys and tell y'all that I had rights. It was not reaching in my purse to get me.
She really wants to keep that hat on. I'm sorry, it was falling off and she just decided to, instead of take it off, just push it back up, which is more work. Also, can I just say, this officer is so fucking chill. This guy is so nice. He's speaking to her calmly, he's explaining it, he's trying to keep her, keep the energy low, trying to keep her calm. He's doing such a good job at this, trying to de-escalate so well. You're being charged with obstruction of justice, this is why. Well, why am I being charged? I just told you why, because you were reaching when I told you not to. So good.
I was dropping the keys in there. I didn't do it.
Before we keep talking, let me explain these to you. You have the right to remain silent.
Miranda
Anything
rights.
you say can and will. You understand each of these rights as I've explained them to you.
I understand, but can I call somebody? I don't.
Not at this second. Having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now? I know you've already started explaining the situation, but...
I don't have anything.
Will you give me consent to search your car?
Search the car?
Uh-huh.
So the way I understand Miranda rights, because I've had a lot of people use them as defense, so the gist of it, this is not legal advice, do not take what I say as legal advice, but take this as a jumping off point to go and do your own research with anything I say, okay? But from what I understand of Miranda rights, it is everything before they read you your Miranda rights is not usable in a court of law. So now if she were to start explaining her side of the story, it is admissible in court. So anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So anything beyond this point is now stuff that can be used, so they can write it down and take it as her testimony. I'm pretty sure that that is how that works. Please feel free to go do your own research. I very much advise doing your own research. Do not take me as a source of information. I am just some internet dickhead. I do not want to spread misinformation, so please go and do your research and make sure it is cited at least like a trustworthy source, like an actual government site. But anyway, that over. I just wanted to explain that because I know that there are a lot of people that do get that confused. So I just wanted to see if I could clear that up a bit.
His car.
So?
My son's car.
What does that have to do with anything?
This is his car.
Okay. It's up to you, yes or no?
No, I just want to tell him to come and get his car.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Well, we'll have to deal with that later, and in the meantime, if the business wants it towed from that spot because you're in a curbside pickup, then they can tow it. Come with me, we'll go back to my car.
Well, let me,
Okay, so she's actually being taken down to the station now.
so he can get it.
What stuff?
So he can get
What?
my money and my sister.
This is all going with you because it is your property, and I have to search it before we go.
Yeah, search it for any
Okay.
dangerous or hazardous materials.
So, what are you doing?
Right now, you're going to sit in the back of my car so I can transport you when we're ready to do that.
Why?
Because you're going to jail because you're under arrest.
Why are you taking me in your car?
So we very
Because
quickly tried
I need to
say
take you to
this is your
jail.
sister's property and purse. Oh, look.
Is the gun in there?
Glock.
Yeah, it was a Glock, I was right. Oh, what do you know? There it is. Is it loaded? Yep, it's loaded. That looks like a full mag. Well, nothing in the chamber, but still a full mag.
69. Wow, that's an X-Acto knife.
Oh, so she had 2 weapons on her.
Actually, probably would have been a lot nicer than some rusty dull blade.
I mean,
Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana.
Used to the Scion.
I can understand.
It's her son's Scion. Do you think he really...
Okay, I can understand keeping weapons to protect yourself, but Jesus Christ, a gun and a knife? What the fuck is wrong with you? I guess if, you can't reach for the gun, you take out the knife, but still, Jesus. I used to carry a knife around with me, but then it got too dangerous, and that's because I was paranoid and other mental health reasons I won't go into.
Really likes Hannah Montana? I think we're full of it. Okay. So do we want to be truthful yet?
What do you mean, do I want to be truthful?
Well, the gun is in your purse. And Patricia's not your name.
Oh, so they gave her she gave him a false
now
name.
You're getting false statement and aggravated assault charges.
Aggravated assault on him?
Yes, ma'am. And then there's...
Pull your camera over there and see that I aggravated assault her.
Okay.
She was charged with aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by a felon, and obstruction. So she's a felon carrying a firearm as well. I mean, again, I can understand protecting yourself, but what the fuck? I'm pretty sure in Australia, where I grew up, it is impossible to own a firearm if you have any sort of criminal background. Like, you have to go through a criminal background check to even get a license to own a firearm. But buying a firearm is impossible without the license. So it's a lot harder to get a gun here, but it is still possible. This is something I was confused about for a very long time. But we weren't allowed to have... I thought we weren't allowed to have any weapons other than shotguns and hunting rifles, because that's predominantly what they're used for. But that is actually wrong. We can own pretty much every type of weapon, provided it is no more than semi-automatic. So if it is a fully automatic rifle, like an M4, an M16, M14, pretty much anything like that, AK, SCAR, anything automatic, impossible to get here, because they are considered militarized weapons. We are not allowed to own them as civilians. So I believe we can own up to a 45 ACP pistol, but that's it. No 50 Action Express, no 50 caliber period, and no 5.7, sadly. So it's a lot harder to get, and for those of you who don't know, the reason Australia has such strict gun laws is because we actually used to have really relaxed gun laws, just like you guys in the US. But we had a huge, I hazard to call it an event, because it wasn't really an event, it was a massacre called the Port Arthur Massacre, when basically a guy showed up to Port Arthur with, I believe it was an M16, an AK-47, and a Glock 17, I believe. I could be wrong. And he killed 38 people and injured 27, I believe. I could be wrong. Please go and correct me in the comments. Go and do your own research. But that is the gist of it. He went and just shut up this area for no reason, killing multiple people, injuring many more, and died. Actually, no, I don't think he was killed. I think he was arrested and then died in prison. Pretty sure he was actually sentenced for life. But then after that, they realized, okay, this was insane. I can't believe this happened. We need to do something about it. And we reformed our gun laws because we didn't want another event like that to happen, period. And we don't. We don't get many shootings. We have the occasional one here and there, but usually it's at most like 1 or 2 people dead or injured, which, yes, horrible, but it's not as bad as what we see over here when we hear like 43 people shot dead, 38 in the hospital. So there is a reason for it, and that is why. I also know that in the US, it's also part of the Constitution, I believe, to right to bear arms, stuff like that. I also know that the NRA, I believe it's called the NRA, has a huge part in keeping firearms so open in the US. I hear they do a lot of lobbying, but you didn't hear that from me. So I know there's a lot of reasons behind it. A lot of Americans really like their firearms and the right to own firearms. I can understand that, but I'm just explaining why we have it changed as opposed to why the US doesn't. That's all. Insight.
So there's also identity theft and possibly illegal use of credit, because this is
identity theft.
Okay.
So she stole someone else's ID.
Oh my god.
Holy shit!
Maria Brown.
How many fucking cards does she need?
Maria Brown.
I wonder what her name is.
Maria Brown.
Cracker Barrel. Alright. Well, that's that for that video. So yeah, not as eventful as I was hoping it would be, but still interesting and insightful nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider leaving a like, or just let me know what you thought in the comments. If you're new to the channel, we do daily uploads around here. Normally it's gaming, but I like to mix things up and do some other stuff, because I want it to be a variety channel. And we have a Discord down in the description. Come, join the conversation, join the fun, and have a say in what we do around here. But that'll be all from me. I thank you very much for your patronage.